Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. In this video, I want to do something that I almost never do, which is complain. I want to make this video not to be negative, not to complain or do anything like that, but I think calling these things out in a game like Monster Hunter World, which is sort of like a live service, they're going to be updating this game constantly and doing new stuff. I think a constructive video showing some of the things that could be improved on in software updates could be a very good thing because Capcom could be watching, so I do want to make it with a positive spin. But I do want to be very real about the stuff. And also a small point, I think some of you think that I'm so in love with Monster Hunter that I have the rose-colored glasses on and I'm unable to say something bad about the game. That simply isn't the case. Even with these things put aside, I think the game is amazing, mind-blowing, best Monster Hunter ever made, so don't take it the wrong way. These are just things that I wish they will improve in future updates. Without further ado, and in no particular order, let's jump in. This one is kind of mind-blowing. It is the default way that they set up the camera. I think is horrible. It's so bad that Capcom on every live stream makes a point of telling players who are familiar with the series how to go into the options and change it to perform normal. If you have to do that, it means that your defaults are not good. What it does is it defaults to this focus camera. What that does is if you press R3, if you notice it's focused on the monster, and no matter where I run, I'm constantly centered it on the screen. So it will automatically rotate my screen and do that, which is great, but we're talking about a game like Monster Hunter, so I may want to look at something else, target another monster, run away from it and not have to stare at the monster the entire time and run into gosh knows what. The moment you turn away and start running, you notice you're no longer locked on. Once you lock on, you're stuck locked on. I can't go off and look on the right. I have to constantly go back and forth between the two. It is super annoying. Let's see if I could do this without Legiana killing me here. The way to fix this is to go into your options menu over here on the far right. Go over, not game settings, but over to the controls. Go over one more to camera. Go to camera style, change it to target camera. And then while you're at it, because who wants to target small monsters, go ahead and make it large monsters only. And now all you have to do is press R3 once to lock onto which monster you want to track and hit the L1 button and boom, the camera will automatically focus right back on the monster. I can look away, I can look at other monsters, I can do whatever I want. Anytime I want to center back on the monster, just tap that L1 and boom, I'm focused on it. This is how Monster Hunter has been in the last gosh knows how many years, and this is the way it performs best. So I highly recommend that you first go in here and change these settings and get that target camera on, especially if you're not enjoying the current camera. Next up is very uninspired weapon designs, and this is really weird coming from the Monster Hunter team, but a lot of these weapons, at least before you get into high rank, all look the same. That's not very motivating to players that are just starting the game and want to make a new weapon and want to feel that it's cool, but as you go into high rank, they change forms, and a lot of them do get a lot better. I still think even then it's kind of weak compared to the awesome designs that the series is normally having. I think they went a little too much with that realistic approach. Like, that was great sword. Look at Hammer. Look at the difference between some of these. It's just ridiculously uninteresting. I mean, you got the great Gyros tree and this water element. I don't even see the difference that much. It's just like a little thing. You have a great monster in Gyros. You think you could do better. Insect Glaive is also one that's not much better. They just have these little blades here. Let's go down and check out some other ones. That's the Rathalos. It gets better, of course, in high rank for some of these monsters, but again, not in every case. Kuluyaku, really? Just a feather on the handle? You could do better than that. Or like, look at the horn. This is the Dodogama horn, which is a cute, adorable, explosive monster, and they didn't change much of anything. Come on! That monster's awesome. There's plenty of things you could have did. Okay, and how about absolutely confusing online for most players? Okay, you want to start the game, you just want to go play, you want to make some weapons, start game, you choose your profile, search for online session, create an online session. No thank you, I'd rather just play offline. What do? Like, the wording here is incredibly confusing for a lot of players. Create an online session just means to start your game. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, every time in the Monster Hunter you can invite your friends to play with you, that's not a big deal, and that's exactly what online session is for creating. It means I'm just going to make a session for myself, people can search for me, just take and make it a private session, and boom. No one can just join your room randomly and you're just offline. Like, if you're actually offline, you don't have the internet on, it will allow you to play the game offline, and I get why they did this, right? They want everybody to get those login bonuses. They want you to always be able to see the current events. They want you up to date. It's a connected experience even if you're playing alone. But they could have did a lot better, I think, in the wording of the menus, because people are really confused. They're all like, I don't want to play online. I just want to craft some stuff. What do I do? And when you have that many people asking questions, it means that there's room for improvement. Luckily, this could just be a software update. I think that they can fix it and streamline sort of the menu UI. That's okay. But there's one area that they have to fix, which is the Gathering Hall online. The Gathering Hall is amazing. You can have up to 16 players, you can see each other's armor, your cats, you can arm wrestle, you can eat together, go off on quests together. Yet when you go to online games right now, no one is there. It is darn empty. And there's a reason for that. When you're online in another hall with other players or your friends or anybody, there's no one in your town because they're only allowed to appear in the Gathering Hall, which to get there, you've got to go run all the way down this place, go to the elevator, select Gathering Hall, and wait for it to load. Now, if you're not on a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X, the loads can be pretty long, especially from what I'm hearing online. The worst thing, though, of all, and this is just unforgivable and they can easily fix this, is that let's say you go off on a quest online, you go off with other players, you play, you have a great hunt, and you come back to the online hall. Nope. You go all the way back to the beginning of Astera, which means if you want to go back and meet every other player, you got to run all the way back up here, go up the elevator just to see them again. Now, of course, you can post quests, you can eat, you can go to the armory, you can do everything you want to do already in your town. So why would you want to go all the way back up there, put up with the loading screens just so you can depart on a quest when I can do it in my own town? This just breeds a very bad culture of players not being together in the same space, and ultimately makes it feel like a less social experience, which is a real shame because the Gathering Hall is really well done. Capcom, if you're listening, the easy fix for this is just if you depart on an online quest, default it so that you load back into the Gathering Hall. As long as you do that, most people are going to stay there and have a good time. Really, quick fix, please get it done. Next one is a personal gripe. I got an attack of 859. It's a bloated attack value. It's not the real value. I go to decorations, I go to like an attack jewel. It says it increases my attack by +3, which doesn't sound very good, but I look at it, it's actually increased it by +9. The reason for that is because every weapon is being bloated so that it's more representative of the average damage output. For example, you got a greatsword that is 864 attack. It's technically 180, which means that the weapon with the same attack strength as a charge blade would be 648 and 558 for an exit glaive. This makes it very hard for you to compare two weapons and make sure that they are of equal strength. For if you play very well, they should give you the average, same amount of damage output. I get why they did that. They didn't want to say, okay, why does a greatsword look all big and mighty, but yet it's only 180 attack when my sword and shield, which hits like way faster, is 180 attack as well. I get it. Maybe there's not a good solution for it, but I don't like it. The next one is there are some balancing issues, which is to be expected for any major release, so hopefully they'll fix it. Now, it is a PvE game, not a PvP, so it actually doesn't affect me that one weapon or one strategy may be supremely overpowered, but I do think that it doesn't really breed for good competition for time attacks. So I do hope that they look at the charge blade and its bursting, and I think the slicing shot for bowguns, stuff like this, and there's others as well. Hopefully they just do balancing so that everything is relevant. The next one has to be achievements, and I already knew this was going to happen because it's a trend with Japanese developers. I think the whole achievement system never really took off here in Japan, but really they're all like Excel spreadsheets. They're tied to the stuff inside the game, so it's like make 50 of that, make 50 of that, hunt 100 of that, do that. These are not interesting. They had to have had a much better opportunity to do some really fun achievements like mount a monster after being vaulted in the air by another user, and you'd have you and your friends playing around with hammers and stuff like that. Like, they could have had a lot of fun with it, and I'm sure the Loke team had some cool ideas, and maybe they just, fell on deaf ears. Whatever it is, they can't fix it now that the achievements are done, but I am disappointed that they lost the opportunity, especially if they're thinking about the West, to do some creative achievements. Next one they really can't fix. This is Zorah Magdaros. I actually find it an incredibly boring hunt. It's a great spectacle, like, there's no doubt about that. I think the first few times you see it, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm fighting something awesomely big. It's a cool moment in Monster Hunter, and you always have that in every game, but in most games, the hunt itself is also very interesting. But for Zorah Magdaros, it literally is just running around a lava map hitting rocks. And then the final session is just literally loading cannons and shooting it until, you know, the end of the quest. It's not very interesting, and I think they could have did a better job of making it more engaging, or at least making it shorter. I know these big monster events have to be long, and they want them to be long, but it's kind of tedious. The next one has to be the end game. It takes like 40 to 50 hours or longer depending on how you do it to clear the main story, but after the main story you have to give the player a hint at what's next in order to keep them motivated to keep going. But up until this point the game's been great about teaching you everything, then it just suddenly stops. It doesn't tell you anything. Like, you wouldn't know to grind to HR 29. You wouldn't know that the real endgame feature gets unlocked after HR 49. You wouldn't know any of it. Luckily, I did get a lot of information from you guys online, and I made a video covering it. But Capcom really needs to have some breadcrumbs in order to keep players motivated to keep playing. I think the final thing is I would love them to revisit the way that they do the scaling for multiplayer versus solo, because right now, if you have a weapon that does stun, or let's say you want to cut off a tail or break a head, everything gets so exaggerated the moment you go 2 to 4 players that unless everybody is focusing on the same goal, it makes it very hard to achieve it. So severing a tail, let's say Nergigante on solo, very easy, not that hard. Go online, and if you have 2 players who aren't doing the exact same thing you are, you're not severing that tail, or it's going to take all hunt. This can be incredibly frustrating. It's very sad for weapons like Hammer that should be getting more stuns that they're getting. And I just hope that they do some balance tweaking, because that won't affect people's sets or anything like that. I think they could just make it more rewarding and satisfying to play without breaking it. And that's that. I mean, there's probably a few more little gripes here and there, but I wanted to make a video just calling out the real big ones that bothered me. Hopefully Capcom will look at some of these. Hopefully they're getting a lot of feedback around the world about these, and in the software update they can improve them. For all of its faults though, Monster Hunter World is an absolutely amazing game. I love it to death, so don't take this video the wrong way. Let me know down in comments, and more importantly, let Capcom know in the comments below some of the things that you're not that happy with, things that you feel that could be better or improved. Make sure that you're constructive though. I think that's a really important thing when you're shouting out about something you want changed in the world. You can't just yell profanity or say that it stinks, because I don't think anybody will take you very seriously. So go ahead and leave some comments below. Let's talk about the things that we wish were a little bit better, and hopefully some of them will get fixed. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for the 200,000 subscribers. That means so much to me, which we recently hit on the channel. And until next time, happy hunting.